All right. Looks like we are good to go and we have takeoff. Chamai Changakshit. How are you folks? I am the Eskimo Libertarian and I will be hosting you today. So if you're just joining in, make sure you like, comment, share. Let me know in the comments if you're here, how your day is going. Yeah, make sure you share this video too. Do you have like, I don't know, an interpretive dance group for house cats? And that sort of group and they want to hear about this, I don't know, let them know about it. So make sure you're liking, sharing, and commenting as we roll along here. I'm going to go over a couple of announcements while I go through here. Let's see. This episode is brought to you by me, just me, and you wonderful folks that have bought my merch or sent me money via PayPal and have sponsored me individually. Thank you so much. This is actually one of the sweaters in the merch store that I have. It's a little beat up. I've been playing a lot outside, um, but it says, "Yeah, can I get a woman?" Yeah, and if you get that joke, let me know in the comments. Per usual, I always have technical difficulties, so let me know in the comments if you can't see me, can't hear me, what have you. Yeah, just let me know. And I also just noticed too that I don't always see all the comments that are rolling through with the setup I have right now. So if I'm not answering your questions or something like that, uh, I'm not ignoring you. Don't worry. Don't let the paranoia set in. I'm not ignoring you. So, yeah, we have a few folks rolling in. Joe says hello. Hey, Joe. And some folks like Cajun food more. Hey, you know what? Love whatever seafood you want. Which reminds me, so we do have the Libertarian Party Seafood Caucus. Make sure you guys look that up and join the group and be a part of the best tasting caucus in the Libertarian Party. And I had recently found out that the Libertarian Party Waffle House caucus is the second largest caucus in the Libertarian Party. The second largest, folks. So I want the Seafood Caucus to catch up to them because I think we are tastier than Waffle House. So make sure you join the Libertarian Party Seafood Caucus. Let your friends know, let your folks know, let everyone on the street know. Yeah, let everyone know. Invite all your friends to the Libertarian Party Seafood Caucus. And let's see, rolling along. Yeah, and then other ways that you can help me out with my show is through PayPal and merch, but I don't have my PayPal link on here. I'll be more prepared next time, folks. But I do have a merch store. So that link is on my Facebook page. So if you go on there, you'll be able to see it. And I have lots of great merch. Let's see. Looks like Scotty said he's wearing some of my merch today on the beach. Awesome. I'll have to check that out later. And Jimmy says he loves bearded crawfish. All right. I didn't know crawfish had beards. But you know what? You learn something new every day, folks. Dylan, I don't like seafood. Well, good news for you, Dylan. You don't have to like seafood to be part of the Seafood Caucus. So we have a lot of wholesome seafood memes and recipes, and you don't have to like seafood, but it would be nice if you did. Maybe you haven't had the right seafood. We also have folks in there that are allergic to seafood. God bless them. But they're with us and supporting us. So, oh, Olga says Vermont in the house. Hey, Olga. So, rolling right along. So, I do have some very heartbreaking news, and it is not easy for me to say this, but I will not be at the Breaking Boundaries event in Tunica, Mississippi. There are events and things holding me back from actually attending this event, but I do want folks to know that the money that we have raised will be going to Mercy House Teen Challenge and the great stuff that they're doing there in Mississippi. Uh, it really breaks my heart. I would have loved to go. I do have plans on going to future events, though, future libertarian events, fundraisers, what have you. Stuff came up, though, and I will not be able to be at the Breaking Boundaries event, but However, the rest of the Muddied Waters crew will be there, so you'll have the Cajun Libertarian, Matt Wright, and Spike Cohen, as well as a whole bunch of other celebritarians if you want to go see them. So it should be a great event. It's for a good cause. Cajun Libertarian does a lot better job at talking about what that money is going to be going towards. But yeah, tune into the Cajun Libertarian Show for more information on that. And also, we'll be talk about it more on Sunday during our Cajun and Eskimo show. But again, I will not be at the Breaking Boundaries event. This is a very recent thing that came up. So I'm very sorry, folks. Alice says we love you. Oh, I love you too. So, and then rolling right along. So, even sadder news. I'm sure most of you have already heard about this. Um, John McAfee has passed away. He was reported to have committed suicide in a Spanish prison. We don't know the details. There's lots of stories about stuff going around that, but we do know that he has passed away, and it's very unfortunate. I honestly wish I had known him. I wish I had gotten the chance to meet him. I had heard so many crazy, great stories about him. He really seemed highly intelligent. Um, he did have his flaws, and people will like to bring up his flaws, but no one's perfect. Uh, but that man was a genius and a gem of the Libertarian Party. And I really wish I had gotten a chance to meet him. Unfortunately, I had joined kind of too late in the liberty movement. I'm actually very new at this in the movement. It hasn't even been a full year, to be honest. Uh, but it's very unfortunate. But we should remember him as how he would want to be remembered. In fact, I had heard news that he had been offered the LNC chair and he really didn't want that position, and that's why we're at today. So that may be the reasoning. There's so many crazy stories out there. But you know what? Remember him how he'd want to be remembered. Remember the good stuff. Remember what he has done for the libertarian movement and all the amazing information he has brought to light. Uh, Lots of great stuff about cybersecurity and stuff. So just wanted to put that out there. A little thing for John McAfee. I wish I had been able to meet him and know him, but unfortunately, I don't have any stories. But I got to hear a lot of great stories in the last 24 hours about him. So I just wanted to put that out there. So rolling right along here. Oh, and it looks like, let's see, Nivens has put the GoFundMe on there to help with Muddied Waters going to Tunica. So if you donate there, the money will be helping other folks of Muddied Waters get to the Tunica event, as well as raising money for the Mercy House Teen Challenge, which Alice has actually posted a link to that as well. So thank you so much, guys, for posting that for me. Thank you. Let's see. Oh, Joan says hi. Hi, Joe. So I wanted to talk about the ATF. It's kind of been a little bit of a hot issue in terms of bills that have been put forth. I know a lot of libertarians are very much against the ATF for so many different reasons. And when I say the ATF, I mean the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms Agency. So um, I kind of wanted to give a little bit of a background about the ATF before I jumped into the Eliminate the ATF Act that I'm going to be talking about. So, for those that don't know, the ATF is actually how do I put this? It started out in the 1920s as part of the Bureau of Prohibition. So, if you remember in the 20s, we had Prohibition, that was the 13th Amendment, and can't have alcohol. So, they had the Bureau of Prohibition, and that was actually within the Bureau of Internal Revenue. I don't know why it was in the Bureau of Internal Revenue, but it was. So, anyways, in the 1927, the Bureau of Prohibition became an independent agency within the Treasury Department. So it kind of branched off and became its own agency, branched off from the Bureau of Internal Revenue, but it was still within the Treasury Department. And then in 1930, that agency was then transferred to the Justice Department, which seems more fitting. I don't know why something that's supposed to be about justice is in a Treasury Department. Seems kind of odd. And then in 1933, that agency was then merged into the FBI. So then we roll along and we get the Volsted Act, which repealed prohibition. So therefore, you no longer need a Bureau of Prohibition, right? Well, you would think so. However, the unit was transferred back to the Treasury and became the Alcohol Tax Unit. So the Alcohol Tax Unit, the ATU, as I will be referring to it now. In 1942, the responsibility of enforcing federal gun laws was given to the ATU. So originally, ATU was just Alcohol Tax Unit. They were talking about alcohol taxes and uh, talking about regulations. You know how folks are when they talk about, oh, if you just tax it and regulate it, it should be fine. Which no, it's not. So um, they were then in charge of the federal gun laws at that time. So just alcohol and guns. In the 1950s, the Bureau of Internal Revenue was renamed to the Internal Revenue Service, so the IRS that we know today. And then the ATU was given responsibility of federal tobacco tax laws and regulations. So then the ATU became Alcohol and Tobacco Tax Division, so the ATTD. So as you notice, it's snowballing with more and more things to it, more and more taxes and regulations, and it's becoming bigger. So now we're to the ATTD. In 1968, there was the Gun Control Act, and the agency changed its name to the Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms Division of the IRS, so the ATF. So that's what we know it today as the ATF. In 1970, Title 11 of the Organized Crime Control Act was the Explosives Control Act. So part of the Organized Crime Control Act, there was Title 11, and it was the Explosives Control Act. And it talked about regulating explosives. That responsibility was given to, you guessed it, the ATF. So now they are in charge of alcohol, tobacco, firearms, and explosives. But they didn't add the E in there. It's still ATF. So the ATF then branched off from the IRS in 1972 and is the independent bureau within the Treasury Department at the time. So fast forward to 2001, we had the unfortunate incident of 9/11, and that bred the Homeland Security Act of 2002. Now, with that, they shifted the ATF from the Treasury Department to the Department of Justice. So that is where we are at right now. The ATF is part of the Department of Justice because of the Homeland Security Act in 2002. So during this time, there's actually plenty of reasons to eliminate the ATF. There's numerous instances like the James Beck shootout, the Waco Siege. I know I talked about Waco with the Cajun Libertarian in one of his episodes, where many innocent lives were killed in a fire, including a lot of children. I believe 25 children were burned alive in that incident, and it's highly unfortunate. And then there's the Ruby Ridge incident, where again, many more innocent lives were killed, including a child, I believe, at least one child in that incident. Those are some of the more notable times that the ATF really screwed up. But there's also countless minor incidences that involve harassment, civil asset forfeiture, etc., and it's all around unconstitutional. So you have the obvious one, which is the Second Amendment, talking about how there shouldn't be any laws infringing upon, our Second Amendment rights. But then there's also the 16th Amendment talking about how laws can only come from income. However, the ATF is also talking about taxes on alcohol, tobacco, and firearms and explosives. So all around, there's many reasons why it's unconstitutional. Oh, and then also like no due process in all these instances where there's innocent lives lost. So, Marjorie Taylor Greene. For those that don't know, she is a Republican representative from Georgia's 14th congressional district. And she has brought forth the Brian A. Terry Memorial Eliminate the ATF Act, which, when you read that, lots of folks got excited. I know all over the groups I'm a part of that are for the Second Amendment or firearm coalitions, what have you, they were super excited, like, all right, eliminate the ATF, let's go. Unfortunately, people tend to read the headlines of an article and they don't read it. You need to read the act to see that it's actually not eliminating the ATF. So it's called the Brian A. Terry Memorial Eliminate the ATF Act. So who is Brian A. Terry? He was a U.S. Marine veteran. He was a Border Patrol agent. And in December of 2010 in Arizona, he was actually killed in the line of duty. He was trying to arrest a group that had been preying on illegal immigrants. And that group had been robbing these groups of illegal immigrants. Uh, he was shot by one of those folks and ended up perishing within 24 hours. So that's who it's named after. And I find it almost insulting that they have it as a memorial act to him to add more sentimental value to this in a way of preserving this act. I find it quite unfortunate and on the edge of propaganda. So, what does this act actually do? Well, actually, the FBI would reabsorb the ATF. Now, after like going through my whole list of history, at one point the ATF was part of the FBI. It does not abolish the ATF. These same responsibilities and regulations would just be absorbed by the FBI. So there's been propaganda all over gun rights groups and pages and advertising it as abolishing the ATF, and it's important to read past the headline, folks. It doesn't abolish the or eliminate the ATF like it says in the act name, which isn't a new thing. The Patriot Act wasn't patriotic. The CARES Act, they don't care about you. So it's very frustrating that there's these names of acts, and when you say you're against them, it makes you sound like you're against what they're trying to say in the title, even though the title has nothing to do with what's inside the act. So I really wanted to put that out there. I thought it was important that people see that it doesn't eliminate the ATF. I've seen it all over. Even some libertarians have gotten excited, like, oh, they're eliminating the ATF. And it's like, no, they aren't. So I actually have reached out to Marjorie Taylor Greene in multiple different ways. I'm thinking of actually calling her, sending her an email, and asking what is she trying to accomplish with this, especially since she's naming it as eliminating the ATF Act, saying it's a win for gun rights, when in reality it does nothing. You're just, I mean, same thing, same folks, just different boss. In some ways, it could actually be seen as worse with it being the FBI in charge of this. So, just so you guys know, it doesn't eliminate the ATF. So that's why I wanted to highlight with that. If you guys have any questions, let me know in the comments. If you're just tuning in, make sure you like, comment, and share the video. Comment, let me know that you're here, where you're from, and any comments in general about what I'm talking about or any questions. Uh, yeah, so let's see, going through. Eds, do you accept Bitcoin? I do not have the means to accept Bitcoin. In fact, I am quite illiterate when it comes to cryptocurrency all around. And if you guys have noticed, there have been times where fake pages are advocating about cryptocurrency on my page and they're pretending to be me or they're having their own posts. That's not me. I will never talk about cryptocurrency because I am so illiterate and I know nothing about it except to the moon. I just know about the memes. I don't know I really don't know much about cryptocurrency. So if you do see like a profile that looks like me talking about cryptocurrency, it's most likely a scam. It's not me. It's an imposter. Highly sus. Yeah. So Carolyn says hi, Nelly. Hey, Carolyn. That is Carolyn Clift. She is very active in the Alaska Libertarian Party, which is a great segue to my next portion. So, have you ever wanted to run as a libertarian candidate? Have you been too scared because you don't know too much about running as a candidate? Or maybe you're like, yeah, let's run. Do you know what to do first? Well, luckily, the Alaska Libertarian Party has resources to help you get started. So if you go onto YouTube and look up Alaska Libertarian Party, they have about 8 videos on there and they go over different parts. And this is all from the Gold Rush event that we had back in April. Yeah, it's been a few months. And I actually was able to attend in person, which was really great. And it was a lot of fun. One of the things that we got to do is we ranked choice vote what shot we were all going to take as a group. And so it went through ranked choice voting and how it all works. And it was really great. Tequila was voted out first, and I'm pretty sure Jack Daniels won. Pretty sure. I don't remember. My husband took my shot for me. I don't do shots. I cannot do shots. So there's a lot of things that these YouTube videos cover. Chrissy Witcher started out and she talked about what to do before you even start running, which is great because there were so many questions on there to ask yourself before you start running. And they were all important questions. Some of them I didn't even think about, but she does a really great job at explaining through them why they're important. And it's definitely worth looking at. And then she also talked about making a campaign team and the different jobs and roles in a campaign team. And there's a lot of great points in there. Then Cian Stevens, who she works up here as our treasurer for the AKLP, she talked about Alaska specific financial reporting. So that's the only video that's actually specific just to Alaskans that are running as, as part of a libertarian candidate. So you can skip that if you're not running as an Alaskan candidate. But if you are, definitely go over that. There's some great information and you don't want to miss that. When it comes to financial stuff while you're running, it's very important because those sort of things are what can get you in jail if you don't do it right. So, important stuff. Let's see. And then Tara DeSisto, she talks about fundraising. She is very active in the Libertarian Party. Uh, Great segment talking about fundraising, which is super important. Especially knowing how much you have to raise. Even just for small elections, you might have to raise a couple $1,000s, which is not easy to do. So she has some great tips and techniques in her segment. And then the next second segment was Paul Robbins Jr. He's our communications director up here in Alaska. And he talked about media interview techniques, and that was really important too, because I know as libertarians, we can be so socially awkward. I mean, be honest with yourself. We are not the best at communicating at times or with messaging as what has been obvious these past few weeks. So definitely watch his segment. He does a really great job breaking it down, talking about different techniques, what to watch out for. Uh, I know that's something that I had a lot of anxiety about, but after watching his presentation, I had a lot more confidence now with interviews. Caitlin Clevin was also one of the talkers on there, and she talked about social media management. And for those that don't know, Caitlin Clevin is the social media director for Spike Cohen and Berman Supreme. And so she talked a lot about like third-party apps that you can use and how to have a presence on social media because let's be honest, it's a huge part of campaigning now, especially with COVID-19 and not being able to go door to door with a lot of different areas that are still shut down. And yeah, a lot of great information on there. It really helped me boost my page. I learned a lot on that, on how to make my page more successful. And let's see, Michael Pickens, he talked about the mindset of success. And This one, I didn't know what to think of it at first, but when I listened to his presentation, it was really great because he talked about how he used to be introverted. So I used to be extremely introverted. But after listening to him and the stuff he had to say, the techniques on how to become an introvert to more extroverted and be able to talk, it's very important. I definitely recommend watching that one. Apollo Pizzell, he talked about field of operations, and that one is very dense with information. He was just putting out statistics left and right. It was great. Learned a lot of great stuff from him. He is the LNC operations manager, I believe, or operations director. It might be his official title. But yes, very active in the Libertarian Party, has run many campaigns, just great individual, very sharp, and has a lot of information. And then the last guy to present was Tasha Cohen's husband himself, Spike Cohen, and he talked about the culture of winning. And I know he's been giving this presentation to a lot of folks in person all across the country, talking about this culture of winning. And it's really great about highlighting messaging techniques and how you should message the libertarian platform, and just having that culture of winning. And so that is definitely the longest one. And but still, good information. I know a lot of folks could benefit from it by learning about more about messaging and just the culture of winning because hey, we want to win. I know I've kind of considered running myself. I feel much more prepared after watching these videos, taking lots of notes and just absorbing it all. And so I feel very confident that if I did run for office, I would be well prepared. And what's great is like all these people that presented also gave contact information. So if you have any questions, you can reach out to them after you watch their presentation. So super great. There is a lot in terms of resources for running. So I know for the Alaska Libertarian Party, we are reaching out to folks. We want more folks running for office. We already have a great lineup, but we want to see gold all the way across the state. We really truly believe that we can be the first state that shines gold on the map. No more blue, red. We want to see gold. So if you want to run as an Alaska Libertarian candidate, you can actually reach out to their social media and they can help you from there. There's also a website, aklp.org, and there's information on there as well, and they will get you pointed in the right direction. But please consider running. There's lots of resources out there. There's lots of folks that are willing to help. We have a big team of folks that want to help with, volunteer efforts. And yeah, we have the resources. We just need a few more folks that are willing to run. And yeah, don't be shy to reach out and just at least talk to the folks involved with AKLP on whether you want to run or not. So I just kind of wanted to put that plug in right there. Yeah, let's see, going through the comments. Tiny said, "Oh my gosh, I didn't know you were on." Yeah, so I am on every Thursday, 5:30 p.m. Alaska time, which is 9:30 p.m. Eastern time. I normally put on like a whole list of times for all the different time zones because I got it all from Hawaii to the East Coast. All sorts of listeners that want to listen in on the information that I have available. So every Thursday, 5:30 p.m. Alaska time, 9:30 p.m. Eastern time, I will be live on here. Unless I state otherwise, there are times maybe I'm out in the wild and I'm hunting and fishing and I don't have any signal at all. That's also possible. But yeah, if you're just joining in, make sure you guys like, comment, and share. Share it to your groups, share with your friends. Comment if you're here. Comment what your favorite seafood dish is. Just let me know you're here. And yeah, I would greatly appreciate it. Let's see. That's all of the information that I have today. Make sure if you guys want to help me out, I have a merch store. I also have a PayPal, which I need to get a link for that and post on here. I'll be more prepared next time. But I would greatly appreciate it. I would really like to get a better setup, better equipment, and better Wi-Fi. I need a lot more Wi-Fi so that I don't have all of the tech issues that I have. And make sure you join the Libertarian Party Seafood Caucus. We want to be the most popular and most delicious caucus compared to the Libertarian Party Waffle House, which I am a part of both. Even though I've never been to a Waffle House, I was actually planning on going to a Waffle House when I go to Tunica, but those plans were canceled, and I'm so sorry. I wish I could go, but next time I go down south, I'm going to go to a Waffle House for the first time. I've I've heard nothing good about them, just that I have to go and experience the magic. So, let's see. Adam on here says he likes halibut. Right on. Awesome. Let's see. Ginger chili halibut stir fry. That sounds a little too spicy for me, but I would like to try that. That does sound interesting. Okay. So, anyways, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and sign off. I'm gonna go watch the Not a Real Libertarian podcast. That's the title of it, Not a Real Libertarian. So if you look it up, I'm sure you can find it on Facebook or something. I'm gonna go and harass them because the Cajun's actually on that podcast right now. So yeah, like, comment, share, join the Libertarian Party Seafood Caucus. I highly recommend if you're in Alaska, consider running as Alaskan Libertarian candidate and keep your stick on the ice. Thanks, folks.